Oh, and welcome to the BCRC show, the show that advocates that BC resources should make BC jobs. I am your host, Clint Chappell, and we are live downtown Prince George in Hubspace. Get a hold of Hubspace if you guys have any office needs. If you're looking for space to rent, if you want to start your own podcast, I'm in the bank vault of the old RBC bank down here. It's awesome. It's a really, really cool space. So again, get a hold of Chris King at Hub Space downtown Prince George. I would like to thank all the frontline and essential workers here currently keeping us safe from COVID-19 virus, but we also got to keep ourselves safe here. We've seen an uptick recently with the virus, guys. Let's make sure we're keeping our social distance. We're wearing masks in appropriate places. Let's make sure we're keeping each other safe during this pandemic. So thank you again to all the frontline and essential workers. Another big shout out to all the local businesses here in BC who've gone through a tough time right now. Again, if you're wanting to go out to a restaurant or whatever, but you're not feeling comfortable, please, use skip the dishes. If you want to go to a gym or whatever, get a hold of the gym. I know that we're going to get into that with my guest here today, the owner of F3Fit, located in Kamloops, Mr. Robert Petrie. How you doing today, Rob?
Really good, really good. Well, I'm glad that I was able to come on the podcast, or I guess the live stream today, and have a good chat.
Awesome, Rob. Obviously, I've known you a little while, so this is going to be really fun here to do this with you. If you guys have any questions for Rob, please make sure you guys leave them in the comment section. Rob will be answering whatever questions you guys have related to his business, and maybe if you have a hockey question or two. I know Rob knows a lot about hockey too. So, Rob, let's just get right into it right now. Where did the idea for F3Fit come from?
Well, I would say that I was always I played hockey, as you alluded to, when I was younger, and one of the big, I guess, culture and requirements now as a hockey player is to be and do that dryland training. So at about 16, 17, I was really into working out in the gym. And then I found that I had a talent into helping my teammates and that kind of stuff. So right away, I started being kind of that coach of making sure that everybody was doing things properly. And then after my hockey career, I wanted something to transition and keep that active lifestyle that I had done, because I was in my late 20s by the time I finished playing hockey. And personal training was something that kind of went hand in hand. I could be my own boss and make sure that I was, at the same time, one of the things that I see my life purpose as is to help other people. And what a better way to help other people than keeping them healthy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could use a little bit more gym time myself, as as you can see. Since I've seen you last, I maybe gained a few pounds, so maybe I should be contacting you to see how to to get a little bit
Yeah,
healthier.
we could always work something out.
I think it's just
You look
less
pretty
chick.
good. You look pretty good. I can't see the bottom half though,
That's
so
good.
we
That's
won't go
good.
there.
That's good.
So.
That's good. So pre-COVID-19, obviously we live in a different world now, Rob. But
Mhm.
pre-COVID-19, how was business going for you? How was the gym going?
So pre-COVID, we did a lot of group sessions, and like I worked with TRU. It's our Thompson River University varsity athletics. So I was working with their volleyball teams, their basketball, swim team, working with up to 30 athletes at the same time, and using the public facilities in Kamloops here, as well as other like figure skating groups, baseball teams. I had a bunch of group fitness. But obviously with COVID that changed. But basically my model was trying to work with as many big groups as possible. And then what would happen from that is you would have more contact with one coach would hire you, and then you would have contact with 30 families, basically, let's say. And then that would feed into all the other parts of the business that the mom or the dad or the cousin or someone would need that training, and then we would be able to bank off on like one-on-ones or smaller group training. But obviously with COVID, you can't work with that many big groups, so we've scaled it back, and now working with those small groups and being able to really concentrate on the smaller groups and making sure that we're staying busy, but just in a different way now.
So I guess, you kind of answered my next question where I was going to go
Uh-huh.
with that is like, how'd your model change then? I guess, is it more just you're working in smaller groups, or are you doing like online stuff now? Like, how has your business model kind of changed?
Yeah, well, early on COVID, I wanted to still reach out to people and make sure that we were staying healthy, because part of being healthy is not just staying away from the virus; it's also keeping yourself um, moving and making sure that you're feeling good, creating those good hormones with that exercise. So I started online. I do Zoom classes. So instead of having that class in person, we were doing Zoom. So we were, like some other gyms did, we ended up having about, I think our biggest class had 37 people on Zoom call. So me in front of basically what you see right now, in front of the camera with all the gym equipment behind me. And the challenge is trying to find a way to get people moving and getting a good workout without any equipment. Let's say you don't have dumbbells, you don't have bands, you don't have anything. So it really stretched my imagination, and it was able to kind of make sure that everybody was moving. That was the individual of like classes, but then I also, that hockey background allowed me to reach out to old former teammates that I had. And I still was doing group sessions with, for instance, one of the biggest, farthest away one was a group in Texas, a bunch of hockey players that couldn't come together because of the COVID as well. So I started hosting on the Zoom calls as well, and doing sport specific training with those guys, each guy in their home or their garage or wherever they were. So that's the other side that I've started trying, working at launching, is working with teams, but in their own homes. And I see this as a long-term thing. Is not, I didn't want to do it as a short-term thing. I wanted to make sure that the quality was still there, and I was happy with it throughout the COVID so far. And also, I wanted to make sure that I could do it as sustainably. So it's not just like a 3-month thing. I wanted to make sure that I established myself so I could really keep on doing it for years to come.
Well, that's awesome. Obviously, here, guys, too, if you guys haven't followed us on, I'm going to plug some stuff here, Rob, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what, guys, if you haven't followed us on Instagram yet, please go to Instagram and follow us at the BCRC. Follow us on Twitter, BC_resources. Follow us on LinkedIn. Just type in BC Resources Coalition. We're all on LinkedIn. Follow us on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel, because we want to do, I eventually want to get to some live shows on the channel for some other viewers, because I know not everyone has social media. So I think YouTube will be a good one. Also visit the store. We want to see some more BCRC hats, sweaters, t-shirts out there on the street. So make sure you guys visit the store, buy some swag. Let's see, some more people wearing their stuff. Let's let people know that we are BC Resources. No matter what industry you're in, you are a BC resource. So that's going to bring me to kind of to you here a little bit, Rob. Obviously, you must, the natural resource industry, there's so much trickle down from it. There's so many different avenues that it kind of works its way through. The natural resource industry must affect your business.
Well, yeah. Essentially, when people are able to work and have that disposable income, that's where they want to start focusing on their health and their well-being. And so, when people have security in a job, then they're able to start looking for the spending that money. So, having those natural resources and having the ability to hire people in town, I do see a big upkeep in people starting to come in the gym, or even contacting me and making and looking for those solutions to help them be a healthier version of themselves.
So obviously you understand that people in like, I've been up to camps before, and obviously the gym facilities up in some of these camp jobs is insane. Like, you got,
Yeah.
hundreds of or thousands, if not hundreds, thousands of people working out or working on site, and then they go to the gym after. So you must realize that a lot of local gyms in Kamloops, that you get people from the mine, you get people from the mills, all all working out at the local gyms?
Well, there's two things there. I spoke about having a stable income and making sure that they are able to they know that the money's coming in, so they're able to contact me and figure out something. But then also, well, I guess there's three things. So one of the things when that breadwinner has that income, then also their family members and that kind of thing, not just when they're going away, the wife, their kids, they're depending on how old they are, because we have programs for teenagers, even like a 9-year-old is are kind of what we work with, 9 and up kind of thing. And so having that disposable income to be able to get your kid in extracurricular activities and that kind of stuff is a big thing. But for like that breadwinner or whoever's working in those camps, I've also been able to provide like programs for them when they're not at home or if they're not coming to the gym. So being able to that two-sided thing of like, yeah, I do love working with people in the gym, but then also there's that other income for me that I get to make programs for people when they go to the camp. And so they're not just walking around the gym going like, well, let's do some bicep curls and then bench press and I don't know what else to do. If I give them a program, then they have something to get in and get out, and then they can enjoy the camp food as well.
Well, I see your little ambassador behind you looking like he's trying to find some food to enjoy right now
Yeah, I'm
too.
not sure what he's doing. He's sniffing all over the place. It's just a little distracting.
It's all good. That's all good. So I do have a question here from the audience. Rob, have you ever worked in the natural resource industry before?
Yeah, so when I moved back to town, I didn't actually think that fitness was a real job. So I actually got on with Toco Mill at plywood, and I was a sorter or grader or whatever I forget exactly what to call, but basically it was grading the plywood. And I did that for probably 6 to 9 months, I think. But I when I was there, I also applied. So it's not necessarily a resource, but it's definitely the affiliate of it. I worked for CP Rail. I was a certified conductor, and I went back from Kamloops to Boston Bar, back and forth, moving natural resources. So
Yeah.
those are two jobs just recently, just before I started the gym. So having that experience also gave me appreciation for how hard the guys in the mills work. Because holy crap, was I ever tired after that Toco job trying to grade that plywood all the time,
Yeah.
and being on your feet all day and all that kind of stuff. It gave me a new appreciation to know how hard the guys work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's I grew up in the forest industry, so I remember my dad coming home just
Yeah,
rat
beat.
bagged for a better
Yeah,
just
yeah.
beat, like he sits in the chair, and I could never figure out why my dad would go to sleep at like 8 o'clock. just
Yeah, well, he's
just
beat from being out on the sun all day, and
just
then he's
done,
also
man.
waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go out.
That's
So,
right. Yeah, 100%. That's really, really true. So Rob, how can people get a hold of you if they want to, see what you're doing? Where are you?
so you talked about social media. So we do have it's just f3fit.ca for our website, but then it's also our Facebook is F3Fit. Our Instagram is at f3fit.ca. And then we have another Instagram page called Learn, Build, Improve F3Fit. Um, and then our YouTube channel is Learn, Build, Improve F3Fit. The reason where the Learn, Build, Improve comes from is the F3Fit stands for Fundamental Foundation Fitness. And the Learn, Build, Improve is our tagline, because you learn your fundamentals, you build a strong foundation, and you improve your fitness. Or what I like to say is you improve your life.
Yeah, well, I think that's a really, really good thing to say. I really think that obviously you do really improve your life if you get physically fit, and yeah, no, it's really good stuff that you're doing. So I have another question here.
Yep.
Thanks for your time doing this tonight. Awesome to be reminded that physical health and foundation is needed to support mental health? Okay, so it wasn't a question; it was more of a attaboy here from Paul in the audience. So thank you very much, Paul. We
Right on.
appreciate that, and I'm sure Rob really
Well, I
takes
would even like to say that like that mental health part is like we talk about. I kind of touched it on COVID. One of the biggest things that I found. That's why I reached out to people and started that, because being isolated, we were able to with our classes create that community, so you didn't feel like you're alone and all that kind of stuff. But then also just getting moving and exercising, it creates those good hormones that allow to have elevate your mood. So it's really they go hand in hand. So being isolated is tough, but then you create a community, but also just physically, you're gonna help that mental aspect of it. So it's a really good point to bring up.
I think that, going off here on a little bit of a tangent,
Yeah.
one of the bigger struggles, obviously, other than the actual disease itself, has been mental health. I think it's something that often, I know it's in the forefront now. I know the NHL is doing a bunch of stuff, and a lot of, there's a good awareness about it now. But I think it's something
Mm-hmm.
that often gets overlooked. And, I know that I've known individuals that have struggled with mental health, and I know that this time right now has been really, really hard on them. So I think it's important that as a society, as people, as loving, caring individuals, we need to make sure we're reaching out to those people, as you did yourself, to make sure that they're doing okay right now, to make sure that they have everything that they need. Just a simple phone call to say hello means
Yeah.
the world to those people. I really want to, not. I'm not trying to be too mushy with it, but you know what? We got to be
Yeah.
caring as a society. Obviously, we can see right now we're very divided, and I think stuff like that can really help out people. So make sure you're reaching out.
One of my
Huge.
favorite one of my favorite quotes is lead with kindness. So it doesn't just mean that you step into a room with kindness, but you also lead as a leader in your community with kindness, and then people will follow with that. So that's basically what I'm hearing you saying, is that you want to lead with kindness and show people that you care.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, really important. So it doesn't look like we have any more questions here, Rob. So why don't you give us a quick little background here? Where'd you play hockey at overseas?
So, well, I'll give you a little bit more. I played Penticton junior hockey, then I went to UBC. Then was able to go to Germany and Denmark for a short little tour, basically. Playing there for just a short bit of time, but I was able to get that kind of that professional hockey kind of feeling, and how good it was to get to that level, and have that experience to enjoy the European culture. And but I also liked that I was able to come back home.
Yeah, I imagine. And that's another thing, people don't fully realize either is like, obviously I grew up, I played hockey, I played basketball, I played whatever, you name it. I played every sport. And the local minor sports here in Prince George are all funded by natural
Mhm.
resources. They're funded by our parents who work off trickle down effects from natural resources. They're just outright funded by the Canfors, the Tocos, the I'm sure West Coast oil fins when they come to town, stuff like that. Like, people need to realize that these places are giving back in the community, and they're creating local and minor league sports. I'm sure you agree with that.
Well, even when I came back, I remember I've been playing in a men's league, and um, we spoke with Toko Mill. They were a sponsor of one of the men's teams in our league. So even being giving back into the beer leagues, I guess you could say, is they're still supporting, not just in the minor hockey or the minor lacrosse or that kind of those type of sports, but they're also helping us old guys out to stay healthy as well. Or
Oh,
I don't know if
don't
it's
say
healthy.
old,
I don't
Rob.
know
Come
if it.
on,
I,
man.
well, well, comparatively, I guess, to the minor hockey, right? So
I only
I
got a
don't
little
feel.
gray. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't feel too old. It's just that I'm a lot older than the pee wee hockey player. So
Hey, we're gonna get into one last question here from the people watching. What would you suggest is the best way to build routine, commitment to the discipline required to ensure to make the personal times to stay fit? So what do you think is the most important thing to build a routine?
well, I think that the consistency is the biggest key that you need to focus on, and doing something that is attainable. People talk about a lot about basically starting too many. I talk about starting too many things at one time. So even doing what I've started doing with my YouTube channel is I split up the workout into about 6 different the warm up, the prep work, and then the actual working the rounds and or the sets, and then the cool down. And so I've just been telling people to just do the warm up. Start with 15 minutes a day, and then that will. I find whenever I start small, I always will feel like I can do more. So every time you finish and you've done one more thing than you thought you would, then you're gonna feel good about yourself. Where if you try to start really big with a whole bunch of stuff and you don't do one of those 10 things that you wanted to do, you feel like you fail. So making sure that you position yourself and create something that you could do every day that will make you feel like you're accomplishing something and you're being successful. That's the number one thing that will motivate you to get to the next thing. It's not, do I have the motivation to do it? It's do it, and that will create the motivation to do it again. So even something as simple as, I know in military, they make sure that you to make your bed every day. Making your bed is a simple task, but if you can stick to that, then you've already accomplished something, and you start, even as a little bit of that hormone boost that's giving you that good feeling that, hey, I accomplished something today. That's the biggest thing that I would say, that consistency of doing something that you can do.
Yeah. Honestly, I that's such a great thing to say, because, you know, when I was younger and I was playing sports, you know, I was working out because it was all part of it, right? As I grew up and everything else, I kind of just faded out of it. And just during here in the last, you know, 5-6, well, not 5 or 6 months, but since, you know, COVID's kind of started, you know, I'm completely out of it. And I just say, you know what, let's just do push-ups and sit-ups every single night. Let's just try to do that. You know what I mean? And you're right, because it just kind of snowballed off of that. Like, it just, okay, push-ups and sit-ups, you know what, the first like 3 weeks, you just feel like, man, I'm really accomplishing something here. And like, I'm not saying I'm out there jogging 20 miles a night, because I'm not. But you know, you consistently do that. And I think I'm hoping, for me anyways, it leads to other stuff as well. But I think it's just, like you said, pick something that you know you're going to stick with, like you know, a warm up, and then that will lead into other stuff. I think that's probably some of the best. That's probably the best workout advice I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. So that, and one of the things that I tell a lot of my clients, if I give them homework, is I will tell them to do the exercise as soon as they get out of bed or just before they go to bed. So like something like stretching or mobility work. It will relax your nervous system, and it will also get you ready for bed, or before you go to bed, or it starts to help you mobilize your body when you wake up. So either or, it's you know, everybody has instead of pressing snooze, you can do that, or instead of watching TV, you can watch TV too when you do it. I mean, so just we can always find 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and that's all you need to do to start doing something. So something is better than nothing. Yeah.
That's great advice. I honestly, that's really, really good. Okay, now this is the last question here. Every time I say this, people start pumping more questions in, but this is gonna probably, unless we get like 14 more questions after this is probably the last one.
Okay.
Hi fellas, best off ice skating exercise for a beer leaguer other than drinking beer.
Best off ice exercise. I would
off ice skating exercise.
Off ice skating exercise. So one of the things I say, the legs feed the wolf, right? Yeah. So you want to make sure that you focus on your legs. So the best exercise out there is squats. And that's the position that you're in. The stronger your legs are, the better you're going to be able to skate. The better you're going to be able to skate, the more you can think out on the ice. The more you can think out on the ice. Well, maybe that's not a good thing for some of us. So
they have half the guys out there thinking they're Paul Kariya.
Yeah. So there's, I guess I would trying to be more sports specific with hockey, I would say skater squats. So like you're standing on one leg and skate and do like kind of a squat, but then going side to side with your legs, being able to hold that balance, hold that balance, hold that balance. That would probably be the single most important exercise that I'd want to do to get better on the ice.
Awesome. All right, guys. So that is going to do it. Rob, why don't you tell the people one last time how to get a hold of you?
Okay, so there's three ways. Just contact us through our website, f3fit.ca, or you can go to our Facebook page, which is F3Fit, or our Instagram page is at f3fit.ca. So nice and simple. Actually, you can give me a call too or text me, but that all that information is on all three of those platforms. So I don't really need to say the phone number if you want, because no one really remembers phone numbers anyways. We just press it on our phones, the name anyways now. So
that's true. So I think what this interview has proved here today, guys, is that the natural resource industry is so much broader, so much bigger than what people think it is. You know, Rob's business is affected by natural resource because people go into that gym who are directly involved with projects, with facilities. They spend their money in the gym. This is the cool type of interviews that I really enjoy doing, because it really shows a completely different aspect and a completely different side to natural resource projects. So I just want to thank Rob very, very much for coming on today. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to connect with you and have a good chat today.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So just remember that you are a BC resource, I am a BC resource, and we are BC resources. So for the owner of F3Fit, Rob Petrie, my name is Clint Chappell, and this has been the BCRC show. Have a great night.